also. Thanks for joining in. Please feel free to ask all kinds of doubts, any doubts, specific doubts, general doubts that you might have. It's my duty to answer all your questions. You can type in the chat box or unmute and talk. Okay, so we'll take questions as they come. Kajal has a question. She is asking, how can graphs help in testing of UI? For user interface testing, graphical user interface testing, there are specific kinds of graphs that are generated based on events, and those kinds of graphs do help. Control flow graphs and data flow graphs, as we saw them in the first few weeks of the course, are useful at the unit level. But in general, for testing user interfaces, there are these play replay kind of graphs which are by testing. I can look for specific information and post that to you, Kajal, if you need. Yeah, so Aditya, this is a generic question. Can you please guide us about practice and how to get a job internship in software testing? So if you top this course, you can come and become an I hope you know that NPTEL provides summer internships for the course toppers with the host institute. So you can come and intern here. But otherwise, for practice, as far as software testing is concerned, please get to know JUnit very well. It's an open source tool. Right in the first week, we talk about JUnit. After that, we don't use the tool much, but if you know JUnit well and if you know the testing techniques well, then that will be a value add for your resume. And programming in JUnit, especially writing test-driven methods in JUnit to write the test cases for each of these things will help you a lot with a job and an internship specifically in software testing, because JUnit is either directly used by several companies or it's the back end of other testing tools that are used by several companies. Yeah, I'll do that, Kajal. Yeah. Protractor, I'll come to that. So there are a lot of questions about how to prepare for the final exam. I guess many of you are college students who are taking this as a part of your course that you are doing in the college. So it counts towards your credits. So please note that the exam will be held in 2 sessions. It will be for 100 marks each. The question paper is different for morning session and the afternoon session. The paper will have 50 questions, 2 marks each, uniformly. That is how the pattern for the software testing question paper is. Per question set, morning set and evening set, morning set and afternoon set, there'll be 50 questions, 2 marks each, totaling up to 100 marks. All of them will be MCQ type. There is no MSQ, there is no fill in the blanks, nothing of that kind. As per the NPTEL guidelines, you can expect an overlap with the questions that you got from your weekly assignments. So some of the questions will overlap with that. That is to adhere to the NPTEL exam guidelines. Majority of the questions will be new, but will be similar to the kind of questions that you have been seeing in the weekly assignment. So the questions section, the major parts that will help to revise are graph-based testing, control flow graph, structural coverage criteria, data flow graph, definitions, uses. There's definitely going to be one question on both the sets of exams on that. There'll be a description given for a source code. You have to draw the control flow graph and answer the questions related to structural coverage criteria. Then one question on each set of the question papers on logic-based testing. which where we will give you the logical formula, we will give you the truth table and ask questions on the various coverage criteria for logic. This is another major chunk that we've done in the course. Then there will be questions on mutation testing, which comes in the later week in the course, again in morning question paper and evening question paper. You can expect a problem solving kind of question on mutation testing, and maybe symbolic execution and input space partitioning. So all the problem solving questions will involve on graph based testing, logic based testing, mutation testing, symbolic execution, input space partitioning. There'll be a small set of memory questions which will also be MCQ type, but they will be theoretical questions, a lot like the ones that you see in assignment. Like for example, I might ask you things like identify the kind of testing, and I might give you options like performance testing, usability testing, load testing, and some other option. Then I might give you a description on a sequence of coverage criteria and ask you what criteria subsumes what criteria, which is the correct option. There might be theoretical questions like this, but please prepare well on graph, logic, mutation testing, both data flow and control flow in graphs, because the majority of the question paper will involve these modules. Because they are for the majority of the weeks. I hope that will answer. Exam passing criteria, Kamal, is published by the NPTEL administration several times, right? So they will take the best 8 of your weekly assignments. You can, if you do all the weekly assignments, then they'll take best 8. If you do less than 8, then they will take as much as possible. That has a certain weightage. I don't remember how much, but I think it's 40% weightage. Final exam, which is for 100 marks, is 60% weightage. And then your grade will be computed based on how you answer. And badges will be given. There is elite, there's gold, there's silver, and other things. Those cutoffs and the grading criteria are published on the course page and on the website. Passing mark, I think, is 40 overall with the criteria. Okay, so Padmavati is asking, this is related to, Padmavati's question is related to Aditya's question. So she's looking for a few practical examples and practice assignments as well. So can we get it in the upcoming sessions? So the thing with NPTEL is that our videos are recorded, and they are recorded one time and replayed again and again. So if you want specifically practice questions and practice assignments, I would say from the point of view of testing, JUnit is very important. Even if you cannot program in JUnit, you should get comfortable with reading JUnit code. What I can do is I can upload a few set of questions that will give you some practice on working out as a separate PDF document. And help. But in terms of video content, we may not be able to do much now. See, the way we do it in terms of practice questions, how you will have to do it is that we give you the code. That code will have an error, small error, which might be very subtle to find out. But let's say if you do one of the coverage criteria, let's say if you do graph-based testing and test the code for loops, maybe you will find the error because a part that skips the loop might have the error. Similarly, we might give another live code, and for that code, if you do simple mutation testing, like change less than or equal to less than at the loop index or anything like that, then you might know that a programmer has missed something. And that will illustrate the use of mutation testing. So this part we teach in the course. The only part that is missing that we don't teach is, can I write these test cases back into a tool like JUnit and drive or execute the test cases through JUnit? So what I can do is I can upload some amount of questions that will involve this practice with JUnit, maybe one for each kind, graph, logic, and mutation testing, where you gain practice with testing JUnit, and that might help you to gain some more practical knowledge as far as this course is concerned. if the code is not known or given, so Kajal's question, I'm just reading out. If the code is not known or given, we're just given with the URL of the web app, then which type of graph should we prepare? I don't understand your question, Kajal, fully. So the question that you get in the exam will tell you what is the underlying coverage criteria to test for. Control test using the notion of structural coverage criteria, draw the control flow graph and test. Test based on data flow testing. It will give you a description of the code base, and it will tell you the subject matter of the coverage criteria, graph based testing, control flow graph based testing, which is purely structural, or graph based testing with data flow, things like that we will tell you, or mutation testing. So there is no web application. You will not have access to internet on the exam. If I understood your question right, I hope my answer was okay. Otherwise, please feel free to unmute and talk, or retype your question. That is also fine. Deepak, yes, I can provide question bank, but I think you have already a lot of questions. No, every week you get practice questions, graded and non-graded. It should be there for all the 12 weeks. If in addition to that you need some additional questions, I can definitely upload. Maybe I'll try to upload it in the forum. Just give me a minute. I'll make a note of these. I need a tumbler also, Ashu. Because once I exit the call, I'll lose track of these questions. So the first was practice questions that are practical in nature. By practical in nature, I mean learning to use a testing tool. So I will upload some for your practice. That will involve learning JUnit. Then I will also maybe put all the questions together in the, some more questions together in the document and upload. That might act as practice questions. But basically, if you revise these modules, that will help you with the exam. These main modules that we did, no? It is constitute almost 60-70% of your paper. Yeah, so which part do you want me to explain again? I don't understand. You should probably tell me which part you want me to explain. Yeah, Karthik, the problem with PPT is that, in the past, we used to faithfully upload all the slides and people used to just copy it and use it, change my name to their name and use it. So I have uploaded several slides in the forum in response to somebody wrote saying they want for week 3 and week 4. So those slides are available. So if there is anything specific, please let me know. I will reply back to your message, upload the slides. Which are the specific slides that you would like to have, then I will upload. Yeah, as I told you, if you achieve elite, then NPTEL does provide an opportunity to do an internship. You could also write me an email saying that you took my course online and you got elite or gold category, and if there are any internship opportunities. So I will post my email here, and you could write to me for internship opportunities, provided you are a topper in the course. A recording of the session, I think it's now streaming live, and the NPTEL administration will put it up. Okay, explain which type of questions will come in the exam. Okay, so I think some of you maybe joined late, so I will redo that part. Yeah, email I have uploaded for your reference. You could write to me directly in this email address. I will be able to reply back to you. Several learners, in fact, they have written to me directly, and we are in regular touch, clearing their doubts and all that stuff. So I think for those of you who joined a little late, questions regarding the exam. So I'll repeat this, what I said a few minutes ago again. So the exam is in two sessions. I hope all of you know that, morning session and afternoon session. You should write the exam in one of the sessions, two different question papers for both the sessions, 100 marks each. Morning session has 100 marks, evening session has 100 marks. So there are 50 questions in each question paper set. Question paper set 1 has 50 questions. Question paper set 2 for afternoon has 50 questions. 2 marks per question, totally 100 marks. All the questions are MCQ type. There is no descriptive type, no fill in the blanks, match the following, anything like that. As per the NPTEL requirements, we are supposed to have a small overlap with your weekly assignments. So you can expect some of the questions, especially the theory questions. Like, for example, suppose I ask you something about, like, say, week one syllabus. I give you some example and say, identify this type of testing. Is it performance? Is it reliability? Is it usability? Is it interoperability? Things like that. Or suppose I ask you some coverage criteria subsumption, give you a set of coverage criteria and tell you the order of subsumption. You have to identify the correct order of subsumption. Those questions will be theoretical, small subset that will a high percentage of them will repeat from weekly assignments. But in terms of the major topics where you will have problem solving questions, please expect one question which will have 10 subparts, giving a description of a code, asking you to draw the control flow graph or the data flow graph, and answering questions on the coverage criteria related to control flow graph or data flow graph. It'll have 10 subparts. So basically, revise graph-based testing properly, both structural and data flow coverage criteria, because there'll be one big question on that. That's one major topic we did in the course. The next major topic we did in the course is logic-based testing. So there will be one major question. I'll give you a logical predicate truth table and ask you questions on coverage criteria related to the logical predicate. So that is given. That is problem solving. So it will help to revise all the parts about logical predicates, logic-based testing, coverage criteria, how to check if a clause determines a predicate, what are the various kinds of active clause coverage criteria, inactive clause coverage criteria, and so on. So that there'll be one major question in each set on that. Apart from that, there might be problem solving questions on mutation testing, which is another major topic that we did in the course. So expect a problem solving question with a code snippet on mutation testing, and maybe symbolic execution also, small problem solving question. The rest would all be theoretical question. Maybe there'll be one small problem solving on ISP, which is the only black box testing that we learned. So if you revise these major topics, graphs, logic, mutation testing, symbolic execution, you can expect to answer more than 3/4 of the question paper correctly, clearly. All of them are problem solving. That just tests your understanding of all the topics, doesn't test your memory. You don't have to mug up anything much. Yeah, so no negative marking. There is no negative marking, Saurabh and Shikha. So you don't have to worry. There is no negative marking at all. LinkedIn profile. I will have to Google for my own LinkedIn profile. Let me do that. Just give me a minute. Yeah, I got the URL. I'll post it here. I had already posted my email address. That's my LinkedIn profile. Yeah. So I think I missed answering a couple of questions. So let me go back. And see what other questions are there. Yeah, so there was a question that I think Kajal asked about protractor versus JUnit. Protractor, if I understand it right, is for JavaScript, client-side JavaScript, and the at the front end it might obviously look different because Protractor is for client-side JavaScript, so it might have commands like what to do on click, what to do on exceptions, what to do when there is a stream of data, and which script gets executed on what, how to log your console. But the backend could be JUnit. So as tools, they both are very different. I don't think there is, in terms of JUnit, we use assertions. Yeah, so let me go back. Yeah, I answered the part on negative marking. Yeah, so Kajal has one more question. When I'm testing a web application for a client, should I be first drawing a graph and then writing test cases? No, 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 no. When you're testing a web application for a client, if you're doing unit testing that involves a code, let's say your code involves loops or heavy logical expressions, then you could do graphs or unit testing. But when you're directly testing a web application for a client, don't worry about drawing graphs and all that stuff. You should test it for like if you're testing it for functionality, let's say, then you should directly test the client side constraints and the HTML interfaces. You will learn things like bypass testing, user session database testing briefly in the course for doing client side testing. But if you want to test the method level code, then things like graph based testing will help. Otherwise, for client side testing, it may not help. For server side testing, there are very popular, assuming that is JavaScript, you could use Mocha and stuff like that. Okay, Padmavati says that my audio is not clear. Is it better now? I hope my audio is clear. Yeah, so there was a question about from other topic. Do we not get any questions? I don't know. What do you mean by other topics? I told you, there are memory type questions which will be a recap of what you learned in the course. So they don't be too surprised if you get one 2 marks question on regression testing, which you will do in the last week, or 1 2 marks question on testing of mobile application, which is direct recap from the slides. So, but they will constitute minority of the question paper. The major topics, just somebody requested to repeat once. Important topics, major topics are graph-based testing, both structural and data flow, logic-based testing, where you will be given the formula, the truth table. You will have to identify the coverage criteria, write the test inputs for various coverage criteria. Then mutation testing, symbolic execution, input space partitioning. These are topics in which you will get problem solving type questions. Let me just repeat it once again. Stress on the word problem solving. You will not be asked memory type theory questions too much from these topics. You will be given a code. You have to draw the control flow graph. On that control flow graph, answer questions on structural coverage criteria. Similarly, you will be given a code. You'll have to mark the definitions and uses. And on that data flow condition, you'll have to answer the questions. So those would be problem solving. Similarly, for logic, you may not be given code. You'll directly be given truth table, and you'll have to run your coverage criteria based answering there. So it's not like the rest of the topics are not important, but these 4 topics are the major topic. Is that clear? Yeah. So you want me to write the important topics? Okay, 1 second. I'm typing my email address, and so this is my email address. Feel free to write to me. So major topics are graph-based testing for problem solving. Okay. Yeah, I have typed it in the chat box. Yeah, I'm just going back by a few steps to read the questions that I might have missed. Okay, so which tools are used for testing web applications? Yeah, twice the same question is asked. So testing of web applications, there are three aspects to it. We don't touch upon it in great detail in the course. So one is a web application has both client and it has server. So for client side testing of web application, like Protractor, I think Kajal put the tool Protractor. You could use that. Any JavaScript testing tool is good enough. For server side, if you are using Node.js and stuff like that, then two very good open source tools are Mocha and Chai. It's very easy to remember these names. One is that of coffee, the other one is that of tea. And they are very good. They are open source and they are useful for testing server side functionality. It's like if you have Lambda code, Node.js, AWS kind of stuff. And if you're doing non-functional testing, which is testing for performance, latency, speed, and stuff like that of web applications, those tools keep changing and many of them are proprietary in nature. I can't recollect any single big used open source tool for that, but many of them are. This is for non-functional testing, which is if you want to test for performance, speed of response, how good or bad it is when it comes to managing the network bandwidth, things like that. You should use non-functional testing tools, and many of them are proprietary. Let's say if you work for an organization, they will have their proprietary tool for testing for performance requirements. Yes. So this is to answer Vishesh's question. He's asked, will the numerical questions that will come in the exam be similar to what we have attempted in the assignments? Yes, they will be very similar to what you've attempted in the assignments. In the exam, I might give you the code and ask you to draw the control flow graph. In the assignments, you may not have done that, but in the lectures, we've done that. So I might give you code and ask you to draw the control flow graph. You will be given a sheet of paper and all that in the while writing the exam. So that's just for your reference. Once you draw the control flow graph, you will be able to answer the questions, and the rest of the questions will be similar to what we have asked in the weekly assignments. That's what I mean by problem solving questions. Passing mark criteria. 1 second, I'll just put the URL that talks about this passing mark criteria. It should be there when you log into the course page. They publish it quite well year after year. You log into the course page, it will be given in the details on what to do. Yeah, so 25% of average for best 8 assignments out of the total 12 assignments. A final exam is 75% of the exam. Exam will be out of 100. Final score is average of the weekly assignment score plus exam score. Right. So if you want to know the URL where it is, this is where it is. Minimum 12 weeks assignments you should have, 8 weeks assignments you should have done. If you have done more, the best 12 weeks will be, best 8 will be taken. In that best 8, 25% of the marks will be taken for the final exam, final 100. The exam score will be 75%, and final score is this 25% average score plus the 75% of the exam score. You can find it in the course page on how to get a course certificate. That's where you'll find it. Okay. So I hope that will help. Kamal, I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So Kajal, it'll help me if you can refine your question a bit. Are we going to learn about writing test cases? We've worked out a lot of examples on how to design and write test cases. If you're talking about execution, learning a tool, no, we don't do much because tools, keep changing, and it's difficult to record some information about a tool in 1 year and play those videos again and again. Versions of the tool will change. If you take something like JUnit, when I recorded this course in 2017, JUnit was working with a particular interface. If you see in the year 2022 now, JUnit is JUnit 5, which is the fifth version, and JUnit is supported through Jupyter Notebook, the latest version. Then they have these JUnit legacy versions. So we give you the basic idea. Otherwise, we don't do tools because it's very difficult. Tools keep getting changed. If you have specific questions related to tool like JUnit or any other popular open source tool, feel free to write to me. I'll try my best to give you appropriate resources that you could read about or use. So writing test cases, we teach you. Executing test cases through tools, we don't do much. Yeah, sorry. I'll just, Vigneshwar, yeah. I'll type out the list of tools for your reference. The question was related to web applications testing. Last 2 weeks lectures I've missed. Is there a connection between each and every week? Yes, sometimes there is a connection. They are all on the same topic. Like, for example, if you see week 2, week 3, and week 4 will be on one big topic, graph-based testing, and there is a connection. So sometimes there are standalone things, like the whichever week we did input space partitioning, it's a standalone thing. So as far as lectures are concerned, you can see the videos. No, there is no restriction on seeing the video. So even if you have missed the 2 weeks in terms of assignments, go back and see the videos and catch up on what you have missed. Because which 2 weeks you missed, mutation testing also is heavily connected over several weeks. Logic-based testing runs over 2 weeks. So you should catch up based on what it is. Sometimes we start a new topic. Sometimes it's a continuation of the same broad topic that was done in the previous week. So you see what it is and at least see the videos, Santosh. It will help you. Karthik's asking, are all the questions from PPTs or exercise? No, all the questions are not from PPTs or exercises. Only some of them are directly memory recap from PPTs and some exercises that were given as a part of weekly assignments, graded and non-graded. For final exam, please expect new problem-solving questions. But the topics I've given you. Is that clear? How many marks to pass the exam? 40 marks with that average. The average part I have given there, no? There's still a lot of time before the exam. It is on 30th October. So we can do one more session while you're preparing. And if any doubts, you could come and ask me. Certification in FDP, I am not the best person to answer this, Selva Kumar. You should ask the NPTEL administration about whether this would be used in FDP. I am really not the best person to ask about this. Please do get in touch with them or send me a mail in my email address. I posted it. I will write to the NPTEL administration, copying you so that they can provide you correct information about what is the FDP certification that you can get. Yeah, Sushant, changing the location for exam, again, I'm afraid you'll have to contact the NPTEL administration because we don't handle these aspects of the course. I'm not even sure of how many locations are there and how to change it. So feel free to get in touch with Padma Priya or Lakshmi Priya, who are NPTEL administrators, who will be able to help you with answering these kinds of questions. FDP, changing location for the exam and stuff like that. Yeah. So let me go back. One of you, I think, who is logged in from the laptop, Dell laptop, is asked, what is node coverage, edge pair coverage, and complete path coverage? So I can explain that briefly without sharing slides. So they come from graph-based testing. Okay, so you're unable to unmute. I can ask the host to unmute you, or I can try to unmute.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have raised the hand. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, just give the request. You can try to.
Yeah, Karthik Bansal has raised hand. So
Good evening, ma'am.
yeah, Karthik, please go ahead. Yeah.
And my question is that, like, when we do an NPTEL course, we may offer an internship after the course if we are in top 5%, right? But last year, I took a course from NPTEL and I got top 1%, but I am unable to do internship because the professor is not available or he does not want to do an research type. So, are you interested so that can like if I scored much, you may offer internship or like that?
Yeah, for me, see, specifically, except for the year 2020, where there was a big setback because of this after post-COVID, but pre-COVID, I have regularly had the toppers in my course coming to IIIT Bangalore for an internship. So NPTEL office identifies the toppers in my course. They have come and they have done an internship at IIIT Bangalore. So, and in this year, I'm fairly open to it. If you top the course, you are most welcome to pursue an internship with me in the area of this testing and verification. That's what it will be on. You can check out what I work on, and you're more than welcome to pursue an internship in one of the projects that I work on. I hope that answers your question, Karthik. Yeah, so let me move on and look at I think Vigneshwar, no, the person who was using this Dell laptop has that question. So basically, the node coverage, edge pair coverage, complete path coverage are structural graph coverage criteria. If I remember it right, we did them right in week 2, very early in the course. And so basically, if you have a method or a function, just within a method or within a function, you want to do unit testing. And you want to do unit testing at a highly abstract level. What I mean by that is you just want to take the control flow in the code. That is that the code have a sequence of statements. Does the code branch at a specific point? Does the code have a loop? Does the code have nested loops? So this is what I call the control flow structure. So you take the control flow structure in the code and generate the control flow graph. If you take a tool like Eclipse or Visual Studio or IntelliJ IDEA, you can install a plugin that will let you generate the control flow graph automatically. Or if your method is small enough, let's say a few hundred lines of code, you can yourself by hand draw the control flow graph. And then this control flow graph is like any other graph. It has nodes or vertices, it has edges, it has paths, specific paths like loops, paths that don't have loops, and things like that. So sometimes in white box testing, we test by executing every statement. So the control flow graph that corresponds to node coverage. Sometimes we test by executing every branch that is possible. That is, if there's an if statement, you execute every possible branch in the control flow graph that corresponds to edge coverage. Sometimes you want to know what is happening soon after the branch is taken. So that is the next step, the right next edge. Then you do edge pair coverage because maybe the error is related to soon after the branch is taken for a particular branch. Complete path coverage is a theoretical condition. It exists because the graph has a lot of paths and I can execute all the paths, but it's not practically useful because you will not, if a graph has loops, for example, let's say your program has loops, then the underlying graph, control flow graph will also have a loop. Then there will be infinite number of paths. So complete path coverage exists as a theoretical notion, not very useful for testing. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. So Vigneshwar, that's nice that you would like to do an internship. Same for Karthik also. But you top the course and you write to me, and then we'll be in touch. Is that to help? Yeah. Ankit, so can you explain how to write test cases? Ankit, can you please refine your question a bit, because I don't understand which kind of test cases you mean. If you can say that, then I will try to answer your question. Yeah, Suraj. Yeah, Suraj has raised the hand. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Suraj, please tell.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening.
Ma'am, we know that your video lectures are available in the portals, but I want to take the PPT as so your video is very important for the examination, but I am unable to see all video. So I want the
Yes. So see, we typically don't provide every single PPT. One is that there'll be too many files and too many slides to share. So if there are specific set of PPTs that you would like, please do let me know. You could send me a mail directly to my institute email address or post in the forum. The forum, there already for week 3, week 4, there are all the slides that I have posted in response to. I don't know if it was you or somebody else, but week 3 slides fully it's available. Week 4 slides fully available. So like that, if there are specific sets of slides that you would want, please do let me know, and I'll be happy to share them. Because I understand that while preparing for exam, it is difficult to play the video again and again and prepare. Sometimes you might want to listen to the video and then refer to the slides offline. So please do let me know. You could either send me a mail directly or post it in the forum, and we will try to give you the slides that you want.
Ma'am, you mean I have to send through the mail? I wanted the PPT. If I wanted the PPT, I have to mail you.
Yeah, or put it in the forum. For which weeks you want the slides, and we will do that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope the TAs have been answering. Yeah, Mona Lisa, that's an ideal dream. But if you're a student, yes, I will post it in the forum. I told you, in the past, one of the years, I had this very bad experience of somebody else, a faculty member from another college who was in this course, blindly took all the slides, changed my name to his name, and started using them. So I don't want that to happen. For learning purposes, we are very happy to share. So maybe I will post the important topic slides in the forum. Suppose I reply to a particular message in the forum, I hope you all see it, because just last week or week before last, we had posted the full set of slides for weeks 3 and 4. I hope you all got it. So if you need specific slides, you could ask again in the forum, and I'll be happy to do that. At least for the important topics, let me do that maybe anyway. Important topic slides, we can post it. And apart from that, if you need something, please do send me a mail or a message, and we'll do that. Yeah, so let's read Harshit's question. Okay, you didn't get the message. Okay, so maybe you could post another query in the forum or send me a mail. I will send you. Just for the sake of everybody's benefit, those who joined late, I'm posting my email address once again, so that if there's anything, you could email me. Yeah, so let's read Harshit's question. He's asked, please explain the difference between program level testing and statement level testing. Why fail on 0 cannot be considered as an example of statement level testing? Yeah, so Harshit, fail on 0 has a specific need. So you take one particular statement. So it could be a statement that gets executed, let's say, when a loop gets skipped. So typically, when we have loops in programs, a loop can be executed, a loop can be skipped. So programmers make mistakes at the boundary conditions of the loop. So let's say a particular loop gets skipped, and when you skip the loop, there is a division by 0 that happens. And as a tester, we may not have tested to skip the loop. So we might have forgotten to do it, forgotten to write a test case that will skip the loop, things like that. So fail on zero is like is a mutation operator that is meant to encourage testers, or it's meant for testers to use to test for common problems. One of the common problems in code is division by zero error. Most common problem in code is division by zero error. And when this division by zero error happens, all kinds of issues happen. But many times these come as boundary conditions in the loop because some predicate tested false. Programmers tend to miss them. So fail on zero, if it's available as a mutation operator, is meant to replace one statement, but it checks what happens to the program when there is a replace a particular operator by zero. What happens? So it is both an example of statement level testing and method level testing. If the whole program is just one method of one function, it does represent program level testing. I hope that answers your question. Yes. Yeah. And I'll also put it in the forum, Mona Lisa, both in the forum and in the mail. I do reply in the forum. For those who have asked me for slides, they should have got it from me. What kind of notes are you looking for, Sashikant? Apart from the slides, there are transcripts. I also said I will post some more questions. What are the other things that, what is the other specific kind of help you're looking for? I don't keep any extra notes, but if you want some guidance on a specific topic, I can help you answer the question, if there is any guidance. Short notes for quick review. Okay. So somebody else, Santosh is written. So Sashikant, please do tell me what kind of notes you want. And Santosh, what so again, if there is any specific topic that you would like those notes for doing quick review, then I'll be happy to try and attempt writing it out and sending it to you. But given the vast content of the course for 12 weeks, we can't create short notes for everything. So do write to me for specific topic. Okay, so Selva Kumar's question is interesting. So he's asking, tell me how to study. Exam-centric, knowledge-centric, study material. See, there are two parts to studying. One is watching the videos and maybe, making some notes, or you have transcripts with you. So the simple way would be to take the PDF of the transcript and then highlight the points that you want to remember while you're watching the video. Keep the transcript next to you and highlight the points that you can just mark in the PDF using a PDF reader. Highlight the points that you want to remember, and those would become your notes. Part of the questions will be direct recap from video, but a majority of the questions is going to be problem solving. Right? So it will test your understanding of how to do it. So for that, it helps to take the weekly assignments, both graded and non-graded, and solve the problems. Right? In addition to that, typically for graph-based testing, logic-based testing, mutation testing, the textbook that we follow is one book for these three topics specifically. That book has a lot of exercises that you could work out. If you work out all of them, it will be a good practice for you. In fact, for some of the exercises, there is a student solution manual available in the course page itself. So it will help you to cross-check whether what you've worked out is correct or not. For a subset of the problems, they give the student solution manual. So for areas like graph-based, logic-based, you have all this information. So I would say a combination would be to watch videos and work out some concepts. It's very important. If you want, I'll put the URL for the student solution manual here for you. It will be helpful because while preparing, if you have doubts, you need not wait for the next live session, you could, at least for some of this thing, student solutions are available. So this sharing slides seems to be a big thing. So let me try to see how best I could share slides for all of you. Yeah, so Sunil is saying, I want to learn software testing. I hope you are registered for the course, Sunil. If you're not registered for the course, then I don't know. But if you're registered for the course, in the past, we've had lots of students from mechanical engineering. In fact, once we had a few students from civil chemical engineering also who practically don't know programming take this course. So if you have any specific doubts that you don't understand related to this course, and if you're registered in this course, let me know. It can be tougher than what it is for a computer science student. But this course belongs to the computer science engineering category. But we've had students in the past taking others. If you have any specific doubts that you don't understand, maybe I could try to help you by responding to your queries in email. Otherwise, if you want to start fresh apart from this course, I would recommend that you you can take shorter courses on platforms like Udemy, where they will teach you some amount of tool oriented courses. They keep changing, coming and going, so you should look for them, and some short courses when they are at a discount might be useful. Yeah, so Shikha, this is surprising to me that the English text transcripts are that of Professor Rajiv Mal's course. He has a course on software engineering, but the transcripts for this course should be your course. So let me try to check that. Should be that of this course. If there's a mistake, we'll get it rectified. Yeah, so the slides are an important thing. Okay, for each section, is there a... okay, Sunil, then you should start from week 1 if you've registered. That's the only way, because otherwise it's going to be difficult. You can't directly jump to other places. Yeah, so Mona Lisa, just to answer your question and to specific others' questions, see, October 30th is your exam. So today we are on 26th September. So we could host a few live sessions more, just for clearing specific doubts. Maybe one around the second week of October, soon after the Dashera break, and maybe one in the last week of October, where you could ask for any specific doubt clearing sessions. So I'll make a note of it. We will announce these live sessions. You could join them, and maybe we could have targeted topics. First 6 weeks doubts, one session, and the next 6 weeks doubts for another session. Maybe we could do something like that if you think that will help you to prepare for exams. Let me work with colleagues from NPTEL, and I'll get back to you about specific sessions where you could ask for clearing of doubts, if that will help. So Santosh, that's a valid question. So he's saying, whatever we learned from this course, is it the same thing that happens in the software testing industry? So one thing to note is that it depends on the domain of your work. So let's say if you take up software testing job for a programming language like Java, C++, C#, then at the level of unit testing, at the level of integration testing, a lot of what you have learned in the course will help you. But if you are like, let's say, a web application developer where you're working on a latest technology like Node.js, server-side JavaScript and stuff like that, then again, unit testing part will help you. But we don't do much of Node.js specific testing or AngularJS. Somebody asked about a tool for AngularJS, Protractor. We don't do much specific to tool parts in the course. So that part you'll have to pick up on your own, because as I told you, tools are specific to the company that you'll be working for. Tools keep changing. Every few months, a new version gets released, even if it's an open source tool. So those will be specific to that. Apart from that, the underlying techniques and underlying algorithms, terminologies, this course definitely covers the full spectrum. There's nothing that you will miss. I hope that answers your question. So we are almost on time. Is there any other quick question that people have? As I told you, we will share slides because they seem to be important. I can put some practice questions. If you want notes on specific topics, some of you wanted, you have to let me know. And I will try to at least highlight from the transcripts and let you know. And we will hold 2 live sessions, maybe one in the second week of October and one in the last week of October, maybe first half and second half, so that while you're preparing, it's useful. Aditya, you had raised your hand. You want to unmute and ask a question? Okay, I think you've lowered your hand now. Do I interpret it as your question is answered, Aditya? So feel free, we can stretch it by 5 more minutes if needed. Please see to that English transcript. Yeah, I've made a note of it. I hope it's not Professor Ajib Mals. If there is, we'll correct it and put this course's transcripts, the software testing course's transcript. And you all have my email address. Feel free to write to me anytime for specific doubts on specific topics as you're preparing. We will plan for live sessions. I know a lot of you are students. You're taking this course as a part of your degree requirements. So getting a good mark, good score is very important for you. So given this online mode of learning, we'll still try to help you as much as possible. Short notes on the topics you've typed in the chat box. Okay. That makes sense. Those are the important topics. I'll maybe do that. I'll try to do this by first week or second week of October. Yeah, I've made a note of it. I'll do that. Any other questions before we wind up? It was a 1-hour session. We have just crossed, but where can we get a recording of today? It's being live streamed on YouTube. You can see that the NPTEL admin will post the recording in the course page itself. That's what they do every time. So it will be back there on the course page. Just check for it after a few days. You should get it, Harsh. Any other questions? This course is a part of my semester. Can I get credits for this course? This question you have to ask your college. I can't answer, no. I don't know how they are doing it. Please do check with your faculty in charge, whoever it is. When and where we can get all the short notes. All the short notes I told you, no, give me some time. So on the important topics you all wanted, so that is graph, logic, mutation testing. Even if I try these 3 on an ambitious thing, I can try second week of October. I'll post it. Will that help? Yeah. Not only luck, Visesh, if you have doubts, it's my duty to answer you. So we will host separate sessions. Please do join back with specific doubts as you're preparing for your exam. So we'll do it soon after the Dashara break. That will be, I will work with Padma Priya to schedule the sessions. Yeah, so maybe one in the week of 10th of October we'll do, and one after the, maybe a couple of days before the exam, after the Diwali break on the 27th or 28th of October. So if there are no more questions, maybe we should stop here for today. Thanks a lot for attending the session. I'll wait on for a couple of more minutes. Feel free to ask me any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I'll see you again in the week of 10th of October for specific doubts related to specific topics. Okay, if there are no more questions, then maybe we should end the session. Sri Balaji, what do you think? Yeah, sorry, there's one more. Our exam will be objective type. No, yeah, no descriptive, no subjective, only MCQ. MCQ, 2 marks each, 50 questions, 100 marks. I said this several times. That will count for 75%. Remaining 25% will be the best state of your weekly assignments. Yes, it will be MCQ. Yeah, happy Navratri to you also, Sridhar, and everyone else. No MSQ, MCQ. Yeah, I'll be careful. There is no coding test for this course. You will have to read code and use control flow graphs and all, but there's no coding test. I have tried my best to keep it as MCQ, not MSQ. So exactly one option will be correct unless there is an error. The question paper is done, so I won't change it now. Okay, maybe we'll wind up now. We will hold another couple of sessions. I've made notes of all your requests. I'll try to cater to as much of them as possible. Please use the forum also to get your doubts clarified. And I'll also start using. Yeah, Sridhar, you have your hand is raised. You have something? Okay. 4 options. Yeah, 4, 2, all kinds of things. Yeah, Harsh, I've told this several times and I've typed it out in the chat also. Preparing fast for exam, that I don't know. Important topics I've told you, right? Graph-based testing, structural and data flow coverage, logic-based testing, mutation testing, symbolic execution. A lot of questions will be there. In addition to the other topics, you can expect some replica from the weekly assignments. That's as per the NPTEL guidelines. So I'll repeat this once again in the next sessions also. So please do join back when you have doubts. So maybe we'll stop this one for now. Yes, they will be very similar to weekly assignments and exams. Won't be drastically different. You will have code. The only thing that might be different is you might have to draw the control flow graph yourself. In the weekly assignments, maybe we have given it. Otherwise, they'll be similar. I'd answered all these in the beginning of the session. Okay, so in the interest of time, maybe we'll stop here. We'll hold another session later in October. Feel free to post your doubts in the forum also. Thanks everyone for joining. Okay, so Harsh, it is clear that you have joined late. I have posted my email ID thrice in the chat. Yeah, so that's my email ID.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm closing now.
Yeah, Mr. Sri Balaji. We'll close it now. We'll hold another one.